Good morning, YouTube. We've got a little SIG video today. There's been a big shift in tone from SIG, so I am here. Wet hair, early morning, pre-shooting Ben. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about some other stuff as well, notably what's going on in USPSA. Like Area 4 match is a good example where the SIG P320 has been disallowed. Okay, so let's get into it. First up, the video I'm going to talk about now, I'm going to put a link down in the description if you want to check it out. But what this is, it's called Inside the P320 Part 2 that Sig Sauer posted. They put it back up. Now, the video is, you can watch it if you want. It's a little bit boring, and not that many people have watched it or engaged with it, but it is a shift in tone from Sig. So, what is it? It's Phil Strader, who's one of their marketing guy. I like Phil, by the way. He's a charismatic guy, gets along with everybody. Um, yes, Phil has always had. I've seen the ability to get along with many people who like hate each other. He was president of USPSA for a while, for example. Um, anyway, put this up. This 7-minute video talking about the SIG 320. Now, what were they talking about? It's how to inspect yours to make sure it's functioning properly. And from kind of the practical perspective, with millions of these guns out in the wild, and even for people like me, or I'd say like the problem, it's going to be a tiny, tiny slice of these guns are problematic, is my view. Uh, they're putting out information. This is how you can check your SIG to make sure that it's functioning properly. That's what the whole video is. It's a little bit, it's a little bit boring. Like I said, there's nothing saucy about it. But to me, that's a good thing. So people can take a look at their pistol and ensure that it's functioning correctly. Now, I don't know if the checks described in the video are valid or if they would catch a problematic gun, because I wouldn't claim that I understand exactly how a gun would become problematic or exactly what the fix would be. That having been said, though, this is what SIG is saying. Like, hey, you can inspect your gun in this way to make sure that it's functioning properly. And I know a lot of people, like, you own one of these things. There's a lot of people in this boat that don't really care about any of they don't like the drama. They just want to know, like, hey, is my gun safe? Because I think, again, if you take a big view of it, you look at the stuff on the internet, and you're like, yeah, I've seen enough video. I think some of these are going off in holsters and I don't believe that there's debris or obstruction in there in all those cases. Like, I just don't believe that. That's that's where it's at if you just take a large view of it, right? For a lot of people, that's what they think. So then I'd be like, well, how do I make sure my shit is safe? Well, okay, fair enough. SIG has put up a video about that. We'll go through the comments in a minute, but this is, again, like, for as much as people want to have strong opinions about it, this is a practical concern for many. And there's a lot of people like in the USPSA, shooting circles that shoot SIG 320s. And these are, largely very experienced shooters. And, because by the time you're traveling around to matches and competing, you've been doing it a while. Even if you're like, a B class person that nobody inside of USPSA cares about, your level of experience uh, compared to somebody who just possesses a pistol and doesn't train with it, you're going to have way more experience. You have shot way more, just done way more stuff. And that's just kind of the way it is. So that cohort of people is kind of looking at this like, well, I own 4 of these things and, I kind of like it. And, half the shit on the gun is aftermarket anyway, as far as like the trigger system and whatever else. So maybe they have like I don't know, one of the gray guns top ends on it or something. So you're just like, well, my shit it's not even really a SIG at this point. Not really. It's all been changed or whatever. So how do I know if I even have a problem or whatever? So SIG puts this up so you can inspect your gun to see if it's an issue. Now, that's an interesting position to be in, is that people that like the platform and want to continue using it. It's like, well, they're having a problem now. So I mentioned the issues in USPSA. Is the way it works for competitive shooting is the organization is allowing the pistol, but individual ranges can ban it. Okay, so that's what's taking place now, which is the Area 4 match, which there's 8 areas, 8 regions inside the country. One of them is Area 4. I believe that match will be in Texas. They're just north of Dallas, and that range has banned the P320s, which means you can't use them at that match, which is kind of an awkward situation for a few people. Like, I mean, this isn't many people, but there's a few people that have signed up and intended to use that gun. I mean, I kind of feel for those people. I'm not going to lie. If you're invested in that platform and you've shot it a bunch or whatever, and you trust your equipment, rightly or wrongly, you trust your equipment and you believe that it's good. It does suck for them that they can't use it. For people that are wondering, back when the Air Force incident happened, and a lot of ranges, a lot of instructors started banning the SIG 320s. Like, no, you can't use it at our range. You can't use it in my class or whatever. I haven't banned it. And I haven't banned it like for this reason. And well, a few others, but it's like, to me, if you want to use that and you've looked at the stuff on the internet and you've kind of made your own decision what you want to do, as far as I'm concerned, that's an adult making a choice, right? Like my classes aren't for like people that have never touched a gun. It's going to be generally people that are interested or more informed than the average gun user. So I don't feel like it's the right thing for me to do to ban it. And then on top of that, it's not like I inspect everyone's shit to make sure that it's safe. I wouldn't be, capable of doing that in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, I would not be equipped to do that. Like to, look at someone's gun and be like, oh yes, this is like I can vouch for this one being safe. It's like I can't do that. Can't do that. There's all kinds of stuff that people have that maybe I don't like or I wouldn't use, or stuff that I don't like. I don't know anything about it. Like somebody has a Glock with some like drop-in trigger system that I've never heard of. It's like, okay. Like, I don't know. I can like pull the trigger on it and be like, well, it doesn't feel sussy to me, but like, what do I know? So that's kind of my position, where it's like, if that's where it is, it's an adult making a choice as far as I'm concerned. Now you're well within your rights to ban that shit off your range if you want to. I'm just saying, from where I sit, it doesn't seem like the right thing for me to do. All right, let's go to the comments on the SIG video. Like I said, I like the change in tone. The thing that the video is really missing is what you should do if your gun is failing these inspections. I assume SIG would just want you to contact them. Anyway, the more videos the SIG puts out, the only SIG model I'm confident in is the 226. Yeah. Sig Sauer, why didn't you do this instead of calling people anti-gun grifters in the first place? Great question. It's one of the top comments on there. I mean, shit, it's why I have Grifters Gonna Grift shirt, is to make fun of them. Going at it, like attacking the audience for asking really legitimate questions about the gun is stupid, and that's what pissed a lot of people off. And really, that's what started this snowball rolling down the hill and getting it as big as it got. All right, my earlier comment was removed in the review that brought the M1718 back into service. Air Force Command said the inspection process identified discrepancies with 191 weapons across the command's M18 inventory. The primary discrepancy was related to component wear. What were these discrepancies and how do I inspect for them? All right, see, that's another thing. Like, that's a fair question. As far as the Air Force thing, like, we don't really know. Like, those like discrepancies of the 191 pistols, I don't know what's going on with that. They might inspect it and it's like, oh, this or that part is worn, but it's something benign that there's no way it would affect the function in this way. Like, let's say the extractors have like got a chip in it or something. Like, well, that's not great. That's not a good situation. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it'd be related to this other deal. And it's not like the Air Force is giving us details. There's a lot about that incident. It's like, we don't really know. When it happened, you'll recall, it was a rumor, which is like gun in holster goes on desk, gun goes off, kills guy. And that is just a rumor, right? That was a story being circulated. Some parts of that may be true, may not be true. But what did happen is the Air Force did that, like, hey, we're gonna put a pause on these guns and inspect all of them, which obviously that very strongly suggests that the Air Force believes or has reason to believe that there's a problem with the pistol itself. All right. What has come out since then is there was a guy arrested, and they did the inspection. Now I did post the inspection criteria that the Air Force used. I put that, I think, on Instagram a while back. The interesting thing there to me was that they didn't want guys to manipulate the slide on the pistol while they inspected it. What does that mean? To me, again, with the other videos we've seen, like the Wyoming Gun Project guy, where if the trigger's back a couple of millimeters and you play with the slide, you can get the gun to go off. Like that to me is very interesting. Again, think about what we've seen as people moving when the gun is holstered. There could be some condition or something happening that is like the trigger not fully resetting, or like whatever, some kind of obstruction in there, some obstruction under the sear, or like the sear lever. Like, I don't know. And then that combined with torsion on the holster itself, moving the slide a little bit and getting the gun to go off. That to me, that's starting to make a lot of sense as to, what we have seen. So the inspection criteria from the Air Force was interesting. The other really interesting thing that I saw, and I did post this, is one of the attorneys involved with a lot of these cases against SIG was in a news article saying that in the Air Force case, the pistol went off in a holster and it shouldn't do that. And that was interesting to me because that guy's been around a lot of these cases, and with how the lawfare situation that SIG does, I don't think that he would say that without knowing something specific, right? So again, I don't know what he knows, but him saying that, that's very interesting. So again, we don't really know, and I'm curious, and I think eventually we'll find out more. All right, all jokes aside, this video is the most positive step in the right direction since the beginning of the whole debacle. I applaud this video showing how to check your P320 to rule out any possible issues. So yeah, of course. This is what it should be. Should be like, hey, you can check your thing to make sure it's working correctly, so you can help ensure that it's safe, because obviously there's questions. Obviously, if you don't have questions about the SIG 320, you don't care or you're not paying attention. Hey SIG, why did it take you a decade to make this video? I mean, did it really take a casually written email to alert you that there might be people out there that would appreciate this kind of content? Perhaps you're a little too busy or distracted by all the lawsuits, damage control, bad media relations, and general lack of forethought or concern for the products you make. Too little, too late. Yeah, that again, very reasonable take. It is a good step for the video. Of course, it's it doesn't matter at this point. It's not like I'm not buying that SIG GTO shit and gonna shoot it on my channel. It's like, no. There's plenty of other guns I can buy and shoot. F that one, not doing it. All right, SIG low-key asking people to check their 320 safeties with very careful wording to avoid any liability. Yeah, I mean, but again, in terms of the practicalities of this, there's millions of these things out in the wild. And not to mention, you can pick them up real cheap right now, real cheap. So if some dude looks at all this information online and is like, well, there's this super dope one I saw used at the local gun store. It's like one of the really Gucci models, and one that I wanted, and it's $280. And it has a dumb little optic on it already. It's maybe that looks like something he'd want to buy. He's getting a deal. And if he can do some inspection procedure to give himself some peace of mind that the thing's actually safe, I don't really think that's crazy for somebody to buy that. Now, would I do that? No, I'm not interested in buying any more SIG stuff. But I know it's I get it. It's It's not a crazy thing to do. Some dudes like living on the edge, I guess. All right, trust must be earned and it is easily lost. Yeah, of course, good comment. The funny thing is most people writing negative comments here don't own or have handled P320s. They're just repeating what they hear on social media. I own P320s since 2017 and never have had a single issue with them, and I will continue to use mine. Blah, blah, blah. I could say the same exact thing. I've owned P320 since 2017 and I've never had a problem, and I will continue to use mine because some gigs I go to, that's what I got to use. That's what we're using. It's like, but that doesn't mean that there's not issues. Like in terms of facts, my life falls into the same fact set as that, but I have a very different view. All right, I've spent a lot of money on this platform, but unfortunately cannot use it because of the reputation that it has now, and also the range that I go to do competition shooting has banned the P320. The damage is done. Yeah, and who does? You should feel for people like this. Like these people didn't do anything wrong. Like they're like bought the gun, they're into the gun, and now they're hosed. One way or the other, they're hosed, and I feel bad for those people. I didn't watch this video because I knew it was gonna be a banger. Okay. Hey Sig, I just want to let you guys know that thanks to these videos, I went out and bought a brand new P320. That's good. No amount of gaslighting will ever save this company. Well, that may be true. Oh, there's an interesting comment. Ways to improve the P320 striker safety lock could be improved by CNCing it with a groove in its edge. I've heard they mims everything or whatever. It's just smooth and flat right now. For the spring leg to always slide within it so it never fails or gets misaligned while assembled or during assembly. This part could also be made thicker with a stronger spring. The amount of play between the slide and frame could easily be reduced by adjusting the rail design that holds the slide in place by changing the grip frame design. The striker and sear could be improved by increasing contact surface, either by increasing the size of the striker hook face or increasing the depth of the sear shelf, or both. Number 4, SIG could offer an OEM drop-in trigger safety shoe like the one they originally planned to offer. Like, yeah, that is crazy. How do they not have the safety dingus on there? And you should have that, I've decided. Finally, a company called Angled Space Technologies just came out with a patent to re-engineer P320's manual safety and sear design to prevent all movement of the sear when engaged, instead of just preventing a trigger pull. Yeah, there's a lot of things they could do to improve it. A lot of things. I mean, at this point, I'm not sure that's a good idea. They should just move on down the road to something else, but I'm not sure they're going to do that. Another comment, and straight to the comments. Yeah, of course. All right, and I'll read one more. I appreciate you putting up yet another video, Phil. Sometimes watching what a user action results in with a firearm's mechanical components can shed light on some of the things to do or be wary of when inspecting or upgrading your gun. Your first video made me think a lot about sear and captive safety springs. Now this is boring shit. Now let's get a different kind. Let's get some sauce. Let's get some sauce. All right. Here we go. I've never had a problem with my P320. I love the gun. I think what's happening is that some people are accidentally bending the captive safety lever up when they assemble it. The slide tends to hang up on that lever when you assemble it, and if someone were to force things together, they might be able to bend that lever up. This might be able to disengage the striker safety and push up on the slide at the same time. That might make it easy for the striker to slip off the sear without a trigger pull. That's the only thing I can think of that could make the gun go off without a trigger pull. Someone would basically have to break something in the gun for something like this to happen. I think the P320 is a great design. The SIG is getting undeserved treatment for what is most likely caused by people not knowing what the heck they're doing when it comes to working on mechanical things. Yeah, it's like, I don't agree with the end of that take. As far as the captive safety lever bending, what is that spring? The lever, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. As far as that, like something with the safety lever, like I guess. So that's what I mean. It's like, I don't know. That could be. It's just, we don't really know. And again, you have to think SIG knows more than they're really saying here. You have to think that. Anyway, it's interesting to continue to watch this unfold. No, well, I'll keep an eye on it.